Friday, and what I want to do today is talk about whether or not you should be worried about the coming recession. So, what is a recession? Well, a recession is two periods of negative growth, and what that means is, as a country, our economy would then shrink. If the economy shrinks, that means that there's less money being spent, and some people become a lot poorer. But what you've got to remember about recessions is some people get a lot richer as well. So, um, what we want to talk about today is should you be worried about it? What makes us think there's going to be a coming recession? Well, yesterday, if you were watching the news, the Bank of England released their forecasts, and their forecast said that they're expecting this country to be in a recession by the end of this year, and it's probably got quite a few people worried. And also, they increased the interest rates. I'll do another video on the interest rate increase. However, this one's about talking about whether you should worry about the upcoming recession. So the answer to that question is no, you should not worry about the upcoming recession. And here's why. If you look at some of the previous recessions, so the one in 2008, essentially the world's GDP shrank by about 1%. And if you look at something like the Great Depression of the 30s, the world's GDP shrunk by about 15%. And when you factor that in, actually, even at a 15% shrink in your GDP, you still got 85% left. But obviously, this is not going to be anywhere near as severe as that. But it could be slightly worse than the 2008 one. But let's say the country's economy shrinks by 2%. Well, you've still got 98% left. So what's going to happen in that recession is you're going to have like the 2% of businesses who are stuck in this rock and a hard place. Sorry, I know it won't just fall on 2% of businesses. It affects everyone equally. But what I'm actually saying is there's still going to be a lot of money flowing around the economy. But there's, because of all the hype that being in the recession causes, then actually the real impacts of the recession aren't necessarily through a loss of value. They're actually based on how people change the way they do business. So what happens in recession is everyone gets a lot more worried. And when you recognize this is when you can do really, really well in recession. Everyone in the business is a lot more worried about their cash flows because it's about this collective mindset of scarcity. There's less of everything to go around. So people start becoming a lot more conservative in the way they do things. So businesses where they would have bought big ticket items before now are looking to acquire the same things, but with the flexibility to pay over longer periods of time. But one thing you can be absolutely certain about is everyone is going to want more value for the money they spend. They will not stop spending money. They will just want more value for the money they spend. So that's an amazing opportunity for businesses. In the past, where recessions have gone wrong, businesses have really gone wrong in a recession, is they don't fully understand how to add that additional value. So there's a few ways you can add value. Well, the first one is you can lower your prices and buy and do the same amount of stuff. So that's relatively, that's adding more value. Or but businesses where they have done that in the past, that what they end up doing is once the recession is over, they end up in a position where they can't increase those prices again. And quite often, a lot of those businesses really struggle and die off after the recession or nearer the end of the recession. So reducing your prices is not a good way to add the value when people are panicking. So what you've really, really got to do to make your business work really well in a recession is you've got to start focusing on who your customers really, really are. So if you're the type of business that just looks after everyone and does something quite generic, a Me Too style of business, what you're going to do is you're going to find it really hard to specialize. And if you can't specialize, then the only way you're going to add value is by reducing prices, which will destroy your margins and your staff will leave. So what you've got to do is you've got to find an area or type of customer where you can add a lot of value to because you really, really understand them, you enjoy working with them. And when you do that, by creating, you then are in a position, because you're so specific, to create an amazing solution for that customer. And the combination of, and by the way, this amazing solution will also reduce your costs, because when you work with one type of customer, quite often you find that you get these really, really good synergies within your business, and efficiencies within your business that you can't get if you work with lots of different types of customer. So really, you should only be worried about a recession if you've got a Me Too kind of business. If you are looking at the same type of business down the road and you can't identify any kind of difference between you and them, then it's going to come down to the pricing. But we're not in a recession yet. we may be soon, but you've still got time before all the hype around this kicks in, which is already starting to. You've got time to readjust your business model and be really specific about who you help and exactly about the solution that you provide. So when that recession kicks in, people are actually going to pay you more because you're giving them something they can't live without. Also, whatever the solution is, you're really going to have to think about how you're going to make it more affordable in times when cash is restricted. So if you're selling a big ticket item at the moment, then really you've got to go down the route of how are you going to help people finance it. Are you going to do that out of your own pocket? Are you going to have to partner up with a asset leasing company? Or if you're providing a one-off service at the moment, how are you going to turn that into a subscription so people just pay less money but every month, so overall you still get paid the same, but they've been able to spread everything out. So the way people want to pay for stuff also changes in the recession. They need more value and they need to be paying for it in a different way to before the recession. So just in general, that is why you should not be worried about the next recession, because it gives you an opportunity. If you start adapting your business now, then by the time that recession kicks in, you will be seen as an incredibly valuable supplier to your customers. And when they have to decide where they're going to save the money, it won't be your business, and you'll get to continue working with them at better margins. So one thing I'd just really like to say is, if you need to know how to actually create that signature solution and how you're going to then use it to then increase your margins in preparation for this recession, then that's what we specialize in. So if you want to find out more about that, then you should go to our website, naccounting.co.uk, and then book yourself in for a free strategy session so we can talk about how we can apply this conversation to your business. All right, thanks for watching and have a great week.